But I'm joined now by my guest, who is a personal finance expert, a financial expert, helping us to, adjust and helping us to who we do hope will help us to, give perspective to how we can adjust our finances to accommodate the current economic realities. But I'm joined now by a financial expert in the person of Yemmie Olaleye. Thank you, Mr. Olaleye, for coming on the program today.
Good morning. Thank you very much, Trust TV. Thank you very much, Chiamaka. It's wonderful to be here again. Good morning.
It's always, a good thing having you on the program, especially with how you break down, financial words, I should say, especially for the benefit of our viewers. But you have seen the very, very unfortunate comments that we did get from, our social media users talking about the adjustments that they have had to make in recent times. What do you make of all of those comments that we did see? I mean, some of them are even having to trek an extra 1 hour on a day-to-day basis. But let's hear from you now.
Okay, so it's quite unfortunate that we find ourselves in this condition as a country. And as I said the last time, it will be a demanding thing for we as citizens of this country to focus and rely entirely on the development from the government or from the politicians to make a living. So I do say this, and I do stand on that strong point every single time, that we need to be able to think strategically out of what they can do for us as people, but what can we do for ourselves? However, we're going to need those enabling environments, facilities, infrastructure to make everything work. And then, hence, we have the protest, a peaceful protest, just a response by what is going on. But then I have to say this. When it comes to managing finance in Nigeria, I think it is a dynamic and multifaceted process whereby we need to understand the local economics and the intricacies that comes with that, combined with the political instabilities and as well as the opportunities that exist in it. So that means on our part as citizens, there are things we need to do in this nosediving economy and how to survive. One, first and foremost, is to budget. I can't emphasize that enough. Budgeting is very crucial for anyone that is going to manage himself or herself in finance. But budgeting starts with you understanding what is your income and what are your expenses. Then you put this together, you are able to plan. You can't definitely spend all your income over things. So there is a way you're going to budget this. I broke that down in a simple formula of 50, 30, 20. Or basically 50, 20, 30. You have to let 50% of your income goes into the necessities, which are very, very crucial for your life. And that is after you've budgeted. Now, budgeting means you put what you want to do and you prioritize the ones that are necessary to be done. So from these priorities, these are where the 50% of your income should go into. The 20% should be for when you have, maybe you want to have fun, you unplanned traveling or whatever it is, that 20% should be for it. The remaining 30% should go into your saving. I'm going to talk about strategies of savings on different dimensions as well, and that is how to even start with. That all of that are encompassed in the budgeting. Now, talking about savings, it is very, very good to know that we are not living in the jungle. For those that are in the jungle, we know nothing about saving. So for we that we are living outside the jungle, we should understand what saving means to us, to our life, and to our future. Saving in 3 ways. 1, get high yield interest accounts. Banks offers that a lot. Ask for different account types, just like you ask for different tariff plan on MTN and Glo. When you get to bank, ask for different account types. What I'm saying now will not sit well with a lot of people. I know that their fingers are not equal. Someone will ask, me will never chop. Well, I want some money to deposit. It's understandable. But at the end of the day, it is a necessity. From what we have that we scratch our body from, we have to put out something into saving. It goes a long way. First way, get a high yield interest account, save in there. If possible, you save in dollars, save in higher currency than Nigerian naira. That is ultimate. Secondly, embrace technology in saving with bank apps that refer to this as auto saving. As that money lands in your bank account, certain percentage goes directly into your savings that you cannot touch for a while, for a period of time you said and agreed with your bank. Third one is when you are able to do things like investment into government bonds, into mutual funds, into exchange traded funds. There are many things we can save with, and that is by the way.
Okay,
Then the
Mr.
last
Yemmie,
part of that
kindly just
is how
hold
you
your thoughts
manage
for
debt.
now. When we come back, the program continues to stay. You're still watching Business Daily, coming to you live on Trust TV. And like I did say before the break, today, the edition for today's program is focusing on personal finance and how you can properly manage your finances in the time of high cost of living. And I still have my guest with me, who is Yemmie Olaleye, who is a financial expert. Thank you again, Mr. Olaleye, for coming on the program today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Just before the break, you had started talking as to how, Nigerians can prioritize their needs by saving or budgeting, like you rightly stated. So I'd like for you to continue with that, but also, put into perspective how we can properly cut down our expenses, especially in the light of the current economic realities.
Okay, so basically, I was going to talk about from what I've read so far from the comments of the Nigerians. It's important that we can relate with every of these comments, and it's necessary to relate with such because we are in the same country. One, I would advise that everybody go for what we call alternatives. It is very, very important. The guys that created Picnic created Free Crown. The guys that created DSTV created GoTV. This is how things work in the real realm of the globalization. There is always a premium commodity, and there is always a discounted commodity coming from the same place, even if we do not know. There are some companies offering the same commodity, which is premium for some users, and they offer the discounted one for some users. So right now, I would say it's important that we embrace alternatives. So long if we must take milk, for example, I'm just saying, for example, if it must be a milk, if we cannot go for the picnic, we can go for 3 Crown, we can go for maybe Lawyer, we can go for a lot of them. They are there in the market. And one other thing is for people, we go to market every time. For sometimes now, people will tell you, I do buy one carton or one pack of spaghetti, and now everything has gone up and it's expensive. I can't get one carton again. Then it's not a must if you have to save money to cut down the budget and so you can afford to buy some other things. So what will you do is to buy a little bit lesser. I understand buying in bulk in this context, buying in bulk is even much more safer. But the question is, who will buy in bulk where you cannot even afford to buy pieces? But at the end of the day, so long you're still going to get the pieces, it's even better you buy in bulk. That's one other thing we should embrace. One, alternative. Find alternative of what you love to buy, the alternative that is cheaper, that can still give you closely desire and expectation of your original intention. You can still go for it. It makes sense. Secondly, we can go for a bulk thing. We can go for bulky things. If we cannot get the bulk any longer, you can downsize, like half a carton. Sometimes they go in the history of Nigeria, you can buy one bag of rice for 45,000. Right now, I think it should be about 80,000 or less or more. I can't say. Which means if you must buy, you can definitely just settle for half bag. That's what I'm saying. The truth is, as a matter of fact, the global trend of economy is nosediving in most places. That's true. But the thing that expectation we have in this country is that we expect it to be better on us because of the hopes and all of that. I understand. But the truth is, when we talk much about downsizing
now, what comes to mind is that, people no longer buy yam in their full tubers, but even buy, half a tuber of yam. I did see that happen recently in one of the markets here in Abuja, which I found really interesting.
Yes, I think I've heard that story. In fact, I think one of those days I saw a comment of a guy that said, this time is not the time to eat when you're hungry. You only eat when you're about to faint. That was really touching. Like, you eat only when you're about to faint. And that's true. It has gotten to that extent. I think people still go for, some people do potatoes. I think potatoes, you can still see those, I think 2,000 dinar thereabout. I heard a yam tuber now about 7,000, some it's 5,000. But I think if you can still do well, see, the thing is about our ability to adjust and evolve around this. This situation may not last for a lifetime, but how well can we really blend and adjust with the current situation to it get better? That was what I was about to say. That when we talk so much about the cutting down on expenses, we can equally focus more attention into how we can have more than one streams of income. For someone earning in dollars now, may feel this heat in the country right now, but it won't be as much as someone that is earning in naira. What about that? Someone that is having just one stream of income now, we complain bitterly than who is having like two streams of income. It's not that we are negating the fact that things are not really going well as expected. It is not going well as expected. We admit. But what can we do as people that we're going to strive beyond this economic situation we find ourselves as a country? That is what matters. So let's focus again on what we can do that can earn us more on multiple streams of income than one single stream of income. This is the way to go. Look back into what you can do. You have a skill set, you have a talent, you can need to resharpen that. You may need to re-enhance that. You may need to reach out to where you can study more to understand better on what you know. See, I believe so much as people, learning is a critical platform of life and is a day-to-day activity. Definitely, there is something every hand and every brain can do that will help us to increase our streams of income. If we are able to do that, I believe it will lessen the impact of this hardship currently in the country.
Well said, especially where you talked to, increasing your streams of income beyond prioritizing, beyond saving. It's also important that the streams of income are increased. But I'd like for us to, touch on borrowing. I mean, it's no longer news that borrowing is also on the rise. I mean, from loan sharks across social media to borrowing from family and even friends. But what advice would you give for to individuals who, are currently in debt, and how can they, is there a practical way that you would advise for them to, pay back this debt?
So it's quite unfortunate that the situation of the country will push a lot of people to that last option. As a matter of fact, I believe that would be the last option of many citizens to borrow from this loan shark. And the truth is, when it happens, it happens. But what I would say, I would advise it to be on dimension for those that are thinking about it and those that are already in it. One, when you have your budget, ensure you prioritize. Priority is what you need most importantly. I saw something like DSTV, for example. I'm not saying it's not good, but so long watching DSTV will not make me to see the light of tomorrow. I can actually just remove DSTV, watching DSTV from my list of what I want to do with my money.
From calling specific brands, please.
Okay, so sorry. So I'm just saying. So based on that kind of comment, it's something that we really need to look at, whereby we can just prioritize. Priority now helps us to know exactly what we need more, what we should delist from our list, and what we can focus attention more. There's a lifestyle that we may want to live, and if this will not add up to our existence and our purpose, then if it's not that important, we can just put it aside. That will help us more, so we don't rush into borrowing money to do those things. Secondly, when we have a proper budget, let's say, for example, we've gone into we don't not have any option than to borrow. Ensure that it's a borrowing that comes with low interest rates. One, low interest rates. When it comes to low interest rate, it gives you time for you to repay without much pressure on other parts of your spending and expenses. One other thing I will talk about, for example, there are good loans. I will talk about that, like student loans, like mortgages. Those are good ones. There are also bad loans. I won't like to mention things, but you know what that means. So when we go into bad loans, definitely, like high credits, high interest credits, all of those will drain us definitely when our income is coming. There is something you expect income to come, and when the income comes, it goes into debt that you already had on ground. It makes us to suffer more and roll within a circus for a very long time, which is not good. So for debt management, it's important you have a good budget. Secondly, the auto saving I talked about is also important here, because auto saving, you have put a certain percentage that will go into the payment of the debt you have. So as your money comes, as your income, the 50% goes into the necessity, the 20% for the lifestyle help, for the energy or whatever it is you want to do. The remaining 30%, part of that, let it go for the debt repayment because it is a debt and you have to pay it. So definitely, these are the practical ways we can go around them. Also, I think that's it. That's it.
Well said, Mr. Olaleye. But you also said something. You talked about, bulk buying. But in some cases, there is a thin line between bulk buying and panic buying. Some people would, go into the market and buy in bulk just for fear of, the prices of those items increasing in the nearest possible time. So let's talk to, panic buying and how consumers can avoid, making rational purchasing decisions. What would your advice be regarding that?
Okay, so basically, I think as human being, everybody wants to buy when the price of anything is cheap. And as a country, we are in a place whereby once there is a rumor of something coming up, everybody tries to skyrocket the price of the commodities and all of that. And everyone understands the situation and this game. So the moment there is a rumor about this will happen, the thing is people do not really fact check and they do not truth check anything before they act as majority. So someone may just see things online like there'll be this going on for the next 4 days in the country, there'll be total blackout now. Without proper information, people run into that. So I would call that we go back into fact checking and proof checking any information that we have. You see it on the internet. If it just be one person just playing around with words and come up with that, we should wait to get one confirmation before we rush into it. Because at the end of the day, it may not be true. And what you have on you to do so many things, you have budgeted it to go for maybe probably like fuel, to buy like 50 liters of fuel because you expect that a blackout, for example. And those are the things that causes a lot of hardship or a gain on our part. So when we have information like that, the best thing is to ensure that we confirm, is this authentic? Where is the source of this information? That will also help us to know much about how to avoid the panic buying. For the bulk buying, it makes sense from a point of view whereby, for example, a crate of egg is about 5,000 naira thereabout. And now, if you're buying a bulk, it means you need 5,000, for example, to pick that one crate. A family may look at that and say, it's too much for me to pick at a go. So what we do, let's buy 5. And when you go around buying in pieces, at the end of the day, when you calculate how many you bought in pieces, how much it costs you to buy that 30 pieces of egg, you realize that you even spent more than what you would have afforded to buy with one crate. So that means to buy in bulk is much more sensible in this manner. But the truth is, everyone cannot afford that right now in this current situation of the country. Not typically because I'm talking about egg, it could be any other thing. So what I'm saying is we can even downsize. If we cannot get a pack of it, we can get half of it. If we cannot afford a pack of Indomie or noodles, you can get half of it. So I believe with that, we can even hold down our expenses, manage our budget, and let the money still go through everywhere it has to go through. We may not have all the capacity to have the size we used to have, but we can still have something part of it. And I believe that will also grow. Pending the time, I believe that the whole situation will become better and it will improve. Thank you.
Well said. We keep our fingers crossed, especially the part where you talked about things becoming better. But you also did talk to, the ratio for saving, talking about I believe it was 5-3-1 you mentioned. But there is also the concept of having, an emergency fund that you can always rely on in the case of emergencies. But where does that come in the ratio of the savings ratio? Where does the emergency fund come in?
Okay, so emergency funds also comes from that one that you've saved. Because, for example, now you earn and 100% of what you earn is not going into expenses. 50% is going into expenses. I say 20% goes into your own, like you having fun and traveling and all of that. Then the 30% you would be saving, it will be part of for emergency. Because emergency, as the name sounds, you never expected it to happen. So when it happens, will you be taking that from the kitchen money, for example? No. You'll be taking that from what you have saved. The one that you saved that has not gone into investment, that is what you have left. And that is where you can take for emergency. Do you get me?
Well understood,
So it
Mr.
comes from that
Olaleye.
30% of right.
Thank you for that clarification. But let us talk to, planning for the future. Some will say, if I'm unable to, fend for my present needs, why should I be making long-term plans? But I believe that, long-term plans are equally very, very important. So let's talk to, how to make financial goals and execute these financial goals, such as education, goals such as retirement, but long-term goals in general. What would your advice be? How can we, make these plans and actualize these plans?
Okay, very good. So I had someone that told me a story that he made some investment, a nasty investment, sometimes in the years like 2000, before 2010. He took all of his retirement somehow and he put that in a stock market before the crash, and that was it. It was a big story. Now, what I'm saying is, when we're talking about planning for the future, we're going to talk about retirement. Part of that is to understand our current situation. When you're planning for retirement, ensure you do not have debt on ground, so that you won't be paying debt when you're supposed to be enjoying what you get, what you've gotten as gratuity, for example. So part of that is to have a proper financial goal. What do I want? How much do I spend on average in a month? How much can take me 30 years? How am I going to put all of this perspective that is actually achievable? Now, first thing is financial planning. You need a financial planning. If you can't do that, you have to hire a well or a certified financial planner to do that for you. You need a financial planning to go around and know what you have as asset and what you do not have, or what you will be paying for that will be taking away money from you. When you are planning for your retirement, it is good that you remain agile. I will use the word agile because this is a consistent and a constant and a continuous learning, reassessment, re-evaluation, and just about re-strategizing every single time there is a shift in that economic trend. And that is also what helps us to make better financial goals. For example, that forces you to now have more information about where you be investing your money into. There are few places you can put your money to that have high investment yield, and there are some with high risk as well. There are places that you can put your money to that comes with low investment risk and low reward. For example, as retiree, when you plan, you can plan for your retirement into real estate. That makes so much sense. At least you know you have an average of 5 years or 10 years before you start seeing something reasonable coming out of there. It makes so much sense at the level. Real estate is one. Other places is government bonds. Government bond, that one is of low risk and the reward is also low. We have the mutual fund. That one comes with low risk as well. ETF is also one. Forex trading is also one, but that comes with high risk. Cryptocurrency investment is also a very good one, but it comes with high risk. So all of this now, they are avenues for you to plan where your money wants to go into, but you need to understand the risk that comes with every single one of them. So that is it. Then the part that is taken lightly in the country, I think less than 3% of Nigerians have health insurance, and that is one thing that we can even still talk about. When you can, please do just have that health insurance. Let that cover for your life insurance. Let that cover for your health insurance, so that much of your money will not be going into health. I do say even a billionaire or a millionaire in Nigeria is just one step away from going into bankruptcy. I just pray you don't fall sick. That is how it is. So I think those are the little ways that you can plan for the future. Have a solid financial goal and plan. Hire someone to do that for you if you cannot do that for yourself. Get yourself a very good and strong budget that is also practical, that assess what your expenses are like and what your incomes are like. And at the same time, talking about the insurance, health insurance and life insurance, talking about agility, staying informed with information going on the global scale. That will also help you to know what to put your money in and what not to put your money in. Thank you very much.
Well said, especially the way you distinguished between, high risk assets and low risk assets. But I will still like for us to remain on the talk around retirement. As Africans, it's not uncommon to hear African parents say that, oh, my children or my grandchildren are my retirement plan. But I'm throwing it now to you, even though I know I'm putting you on the spot. Is that a feasible retirement plan?
Okay, basically, I will say that is not feasible One, I understand that point whereby the parents will say, my child is my retirement plan. It's good, it's a desire. In fact, it is a wish of every parent that raise and nurture a child till it gets to that level. But the truth is, God forbid, what if the parent doesn't live long to see the child making it in life to the extent of making the child your retirement plan? What about that? So what I do say is a responsibility of a parent is to take care of a child. When you take care of a child, when the child grows and starts making it, it is a natural responsibility of the child now to take care of you. Whether you call that your retirement plan or not, it is a responsibility of different people at different times. At a point, it was a responsibility to nurture him, train him in school, give him all the support he needed. And at a point in time when you can no longer do all of those, it is the child's responsibility to do all of that comfort and taking care for you. So for me, I do not see it as because to the best of my understanding, when parents make such statement, I believe it goes down with a lot of psychological pressure on children. So imagine someone that has not really gotten a job that is paying well, someone gotten a job that is paying like 50K in a month or 100K in a month, currently in this country. How do you really want to manage yourself and manage a parent that is demanding so much of expectation from you? So I do say it is a kind of psychological pressure it places on children. I want a situation whereby the parents will understand that this is a natural thing the children would do in life without really putting it as a retirement plan. And when we have a clear mindset of not putting this as a retirement plan, it helps us even to plan for ourselves. Even if the child is not doing well when we expected, it helps us to have our own personal plan ahead of time. So that is why all of those long-term goals is very, very important. I talked about real estate, for example. Those are important things that you can do during the active service. Thank you.
Just before we go, because unfortunately our time is fast spent, but I would like for you to use the next 2 minutes to give, our viewers your top 3 financial tips. What would those be?
All right. So I'm going to say first, get the financial education and get financial literacy. The education is you having the knowledge of what is done in the financial realm and how you can put that in perspective. But the financial literacy is you doing this thing. We've talked about budget. You can budget, but are you following the budget? That is the literacy. You know and you do. That is literacy. You know is education. Now you doing is the literacy. Have financial education and financial literacy. Whatever it will cost you, you may not have the certification in that. They are just common things that you can do in the house that can also help. Practical things, maybe even the kitchen budgeting, the home management budgeting, and all of that. That is one. Secondly, stay informed. Whatever is going on in the global level is something we should resonate with the most. One, if opportunities will be coming, you're going to get that through what you listen to and what you see. It's high time we listen to something that is going on the global level, because that is when we can even have our own innovation and critical thinking. Let's live beyond where we live. Let's live above where we are currently, beyond Africa. Let's think wide. Let's see wider. That is the point. So we have to increase how we remain relevant in seeking information. That is the agility I talked about, remaining agile, because the time ahead of us, we seek a time and demand a time for us to also be able to blend with the financial, the economic shift. That is the agility. We have to reassess often, we have to reevaluate often, and this is a continuous process in the financial shift, so that as the economic shift in a particular direction, we are able to blend. When the demand of increasing our budgeting comes up, then we have to increase our streams of income. That would be the thinking. I believe this kind of thinking and mindset will help an average Nigerian to live more comfortable than to cry and complain about everything going on in the country. With that in mind, with time, we believe everything will get better for everybody. Thank you very much.
Yemmie Olaleye, a financial expert there, breaking down, how we can properly manage our finances during the current times of high cost of living. Thank you, Mr. Olaleye, for all the insight you've shared today on the program.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. I wish you the best.
Thank you. Thank you again. This is where we say our goodbyes on today's edition of Business Daily, but keep the conversation going on social media. Let us hear from you. What adjustments have you had to make in order to, survive the current economic hardships? We did see, quite a number of feedback, which we highlighted on the program earlier, but, keep your comments going and we'll be there to make our respond to your comment across all the social media platforms. My name is Chiamaka Enendu. Thank you for watching and bye for now.